The story of King Solomon. Imagine the vastness of the kingdom of Israel. The people wait anxiously as King David's final days approach. Who will assume the throne of one of the greatest kings in history? Among David's children, tensions rise. Adonijah, ambitious and confident, already proclaims himself king even before his father's death. But God had other plans, and through the prophet Nathan and the intervention of Bathsheba, the divine promise is fulfilled. Solomon, the son of David and Bathsheba, is crowned king. The coronation was a moment of triumph and celebration. Solomon, still young and inexperienced, was taken to the spring of Gihon, where the priest Zadok anointed him with sacred oil. The trumpet sounded, and the people shouted, "Long live King Solomon!" The transition of power was consolidated, but not without challenges. Adonijah tried to manipulate the situation, asking for the hand of Abishag, David's concubine, in marriage. This political maneuver was noticed by Solomon, who acted firmly to protect the throne that God had given him. One day in Gibeon, God appeared to Solomon in a dream. Imagine the creator of the universe asking, "Ask me for anything you want, and I will give it to you. What would you order?" Solomon, aware of his responsibility and the greatness of the people of Israel, asked for wisdom to govern. He said, "Give your servant therefore a heart full of discernment to govern your people and to know how to distinguish between good and evil." This answer deeply pleased God. He not only gave Solomon wisdom such as no one ever had or would have, but also riches, glory, and honor. Solomon awoke from his dream, and soon divine wisdom began to be demonstrated. Solomon's most famous trial took place when two women fought over the motherhood of a baby. Both claimed to be the child's mother. Without witnesses or evidence, Solomon ordered a sword to be brought and suggested cutting the baby in half, giving half to each woman. The real mother revealed herself by begging for the baby's life, offering to give him to the other woman. Solomon declared, "Give the living child to the first. This is his mother." This decision resonated throughout Israel, and the people recognized that God had given the king wisdom. During his reign, Solomon brought an era of peace and prosperity to Israel. He organized the kingdom efficiently, establishing governors and tax systems that supported his administration. But Solomon's greatest achievement was the construction of the temple in Jerusalem, a project that his father, David, had dreamed of, but that God assigned him to carry out. Solomon's temple was a monumental work. Solomon sent emissaries to King Hiram of Tyre, who provided cedars from Lebanon and skilled artisans. Thousands of Israeli workers participated in the construction, which took 7 years to complete. The temple was decorated with gold, precious stones, and intricate details. When it was ready, Solomon led a grand dedication ceremony. He prayed with humility, asking that God would dwell in that place and hear the prayers of the people. After his prayer, fire came down from heaven and consumed the sacrifices on the altar, and the glory of God filled the temple. Solomon also built palaces, fortresses, and cities, expanding Israel's influence. His wisdom and wealth attracted rulers from all nations. The Queen of Sheba traveled far and wide to meet him, bringing valuable gifts and testing his wisdom with difficult questions. When she saw his wealth, heard his wisdom, and witnessed the grandeur of his court, she declared, "I was not told even the half. In wisdom and wealth you surpassed everything I heard." Solomon wrote thousands of proverbs and songs, many of which are recorded in the Bible. He meditated on the meaning of life, as we see in Ecclesiastes, and wrote about love in the Song of Songs. He taught that the beginning of wisdom is the fear of the Lord, and that true happiness is in following God's ways. However, not all of Solomon's story is one of glory. As time passed, he strayed from God. Solomon married many foreign women, who brought their religions to Israel. He allowed the construction of altars to pagan gods such as Ashtaroth and Molech, which provoked God's wrath. Despite his wisdom, Solomon was unable to remain faithful to the divine covenant. God, in his justice, announced that because of Solomon's sins, the kingdom would be divided after his death. Solomon reigned for 40 years and died and was buried in the city of David. After his death, the kingdom was divided between Judah and Israel, as God had said. Solomon's life teaches us profound lessons. He reminds us that true wisdom comes from God, and that even when we receive extraordinary blessings, we must remain faithful and obedient. Solomon had everything: wisdom, wealth, power. But in the end, what matters most is a heart dedicated to God. I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember to subscribe to the channel and activate notifications to continue watching us. Hugs and stay with God.